I'm an elite banker, and I'm going to remarry a beautiful, hard-working girlfriend who deserves me. With a spiteful woman like you, my luck will go down the drain. I'm divorcing a useless woman who doesn't make a penny. What? What about our child? Take care of Charlotte yourself. I'm having a new baby with my lover. My husband, who abandoned me and our daughter, announced he was remarrying after getting his mistress pregnant. Fed up with his attitude, I decided on divorce. After the divorce was finalized, there were still things I needed to do. When I went to his workplace for important paperwork, my husband and his mistress approached me with smirks. "Miss me so much you came all the way to my workplace, huh? LOL, you're just a housewife with no money, came to dip into savings, right? LOL, I'm here to claim the $6 million. What? Learning about my lottery win, my husband spectacularly begged for forgiveness. My name is Olivia. I'm 32 years old now. My childhood dream was to work in caregiving. I wanted to be helpful to others. After high school, I attended a vocational school for caregiving and passed. I was able to fulfill my childhood dream. Working as a caregiver was tough, but getting thanked by the patients made it all worth it, a truly rewarding job. One day, a close coworker invited me to a mixer. There, I met my husband, Liam. My first impression was, he's so handsome. I wanted to talk to him, but he seemed like the quiet, cool type, maybe not a fan of these settings. However, walking to the station together, we ended up having a surprisingly fun and talkative time. Turns out, Liam was just shy, not cool at all. I found that gap adorable. We quickly grew close and decided to get married. Later, through mutual friends, I found out Liam had another girlfriend at the time. I was shocked that it was two timing, which I didn't expect, but I found out after we were married, and either way, I thought he genuinely loved me and chose me. Early in our marriage, we enjoyed sports events and movies during our days off. Buying lottery tickets became a hobby we both shared. The first time was when we happened to come across a lottery booth while at a sports event. Out of curiosity, we bought our first sports lottery ticket. Then, to our surprise, we won. It must have been beginner's luck. It wasn't a huge win, but we got totally hooked and started buying small amounts regularly without betting big. For example, today is a great day, so I'll try to buy it. Or, if today's morning horoscope says it's no. I'll buy some. It was one of the few hobbies we both enjoyed. Around our 4th year of marriage, we had been wanting a child but hadn't been able to conceive, and were considering starting fertility treatments just when we thought about it. We discovered we were expecting our long-awaited first child. We did it, Olivia. We're finally going to be parents. Liam was tearfully happy when we confirmed the pregnancy. Really? I'm so happy. But the real celebration will be after the OB/GYN visit. I'm nervous. But somehow, I feel it's going to be okay. Just a feeling. The next day, with butterflies in my stomach, I headed to the OB/GYN. Upon examining the ultrasound, the doctor said, "Congratulations, you're pregnant." I could see for myself that I indeed was pregnant. I was so happy that I immediately texted my husband from the hospital's waiting room. "I'm pregnant. Just entered the 5th week." Once we're in the safe zone, we gotta tell both our parents. The text was read immediately, and he replied, "Really? That's great. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. Olivia, please be extra careful on your way back." He's usually slow to respond, but he must have been really happy this time. I returned home, savoring my happiness. That night, I'm looking forward to it. "Liam, do you want a boy or a girl?" Tough choice. I'd be happy with either, but if it's a girl, I might be too sad when she gets married. If it's a boy, it'd be fun to play together while he's young. Well, yay, but if it's a girl, I'd love to talk about love and stuff with her. We had such a light-hearted conversation while eating dinner. Time passed, and eventually, we found out the sex of the baby. Pregnancy was tough but happy, with the support of my husband, and without any major problems. Before I knew it, time flew by, and I safely gave birth to a beautiful girl. We named our daughter Charlotte. We talked about overcoming various challenges together as a couple, but the pregnancy and birth led me to quit my job. I used to work as a caregiver, which was physically demanding, and the night shifts made it difficult to continue. However, my husband's attitude changed drastically afterward. Before I got pregnant, we both worked full-time, so we shared the housework, but when I became a housewife, he would say, "You were home today, weren't you? Why didn't you even clean the house? Since you're home, you must have some free time, right? You better cook me something more elaborate," and started cursing me. His attitude caused our relationship to become more strained, and though we shared a bed, there was no intimacy. "Just because there's nowhere else to sleep, I'm putting up with it. I really don't want to sleep with you," he even said. I wanted to tell him to sleep on the floor, but I could never say such a thing. We barely had any meaningful conversations anymore, only talking about logistical stuff. When I talk to him, he doesn't listen to me at all, and only gives me appropriate replies. "Hey, there was a drama last night. Lava. Listen. Today, Charlotte. Yay. It was always like this. All he ever says is and yay." He never seemed interested in expanding the conversation. The only time he's not indifferent is when he's angry. "Tisk. What's with this meal? It's bland. I can't eat this. I thought too much seasoning wasn't good for your health." "Shut up. You can't cook. Your cleaning is a mess. Whatever I make you do, you're no good at it. If I hadn't married you, no one would have picked up a woman like you." That's something I often hear. Even our 3-year-old daughter gets treated coldly when she approaches us. "Daddy, look. Charlotte drew this." Even when she shows him a drawing of him, all he says is, "So what?" No child would miss a father like this. Still, I've tried to keep my spirits up, not wanting to upset him and start a fight. But lately, I've been thinking, am I just a housekeeper in the name of being a housewife? At home, he's like that, but he works at a major bank. My friends say to me, "You are so lucky to have a banker husband. He's a winner. And he seems to love you, Olivia." They were envious. Sure, he puts on a good front outside. Even at a friend's wedding we attended together, he said, "Olivia's great at cooking, cleaning, laundry. She's just a perfect wife." My friends were all excited, but the reality is, at home, he shows no interest in me or our daughter, just a verbally abusive husband. He's like a different person inside and outside the house, and he's incredibly selfish. On his days off, he leaves without saying where he's going, and comes home in the wee hours. Doesn't even try to do anything around the house or with childcare. During the week, I never know when he'll finish work or what he's up to. He comes home late, and I have no idea where he's been. If I ask, he yells, "What I do and where I'm at is none of your business. You should be grateful an elite like me brings money home." He added, "Your uselessness that you stay at home all the time and can't even do a decent amount of housework has no right to complain to an elite. You're not even fashionable anymore because of child care, and I don't see you as a woman at all." The first time he said this to me, I was so shocked that all I could do was cry. Yet, I didn't give up and tried multiple times to talk and rebuild our relationship. But he rarely comes home, and when I try to talk in the early morning, he's in a bad mood, leading to a life of passing each other by. This has led us to a state of living separately under the same roof. People might think, why don't you just divorce him? Indeed, the word divorce has crossed my mind many times. But, as a full-time housewife, will I be able to raise my young daughter on my own? Can I quickly find a job if I start job hunting now? When my daughter wanted to learn a lesson or go to college, I was worried that I would not be able to fulfill her wishes or give her a comfortable life. One day, I was alone at the supermarket to get groceries. Then, in the corner of the supermarket, I saw a banner that read "Lucky Day." It was the lottery ticket booth. I remember buying tickets with Liam on days like this, good old times. I reminisced about the happy days, but those joyful days seem like a distant past now. He has changed. Desperately, I went to the lottery ticket booth. Buying alone for the first time, I thought, as I bought a ticket after a long while, might as well. I might talk to my husband about buying the lottery ticket. If we win, maybe we could talk about wanting to do this or go there like the old times. With that faint hope, I headed home. But that day too, my husband didn't come home even past 10 p.m. After putting our daughter to bed, I was watching TV alone on the living room sofa when a call came from my husband's number. "Hello, what time are you coming home? Is this Liam's wife?" I heard an unfamiliar woman's voice. A bad feeling washed over me, and I felt a chill. Who is this? "My name is Emma, I'm Liam's girlfriend." Your husband is sleeping right next to me, sound asleep. The person on the phone was my husband's mistress. I wanted to talk to you. I love Liam. He feels the same way. I'm going to be direct with you, so please divorce him. Liam also told me that a housekeeper's wife is no longer needed. I'm sure he's going to cut you off soon, so please go ahead and prepare for the divorce. It was infuriating to learn about my husband's affair, but it wasn't the first time. Without my knowledge, he had been two-timing me before and after our marriage. But this time, I had honestly suspected he might be cheating. He always comes home around 10 p.m. on weekdays and spends weekends away. He never lets go of his smartphone, and there's no affection between us. So I wasn't surprised by his affair, but Emma's nonchalant and brazen tone gave me goosebumps. Emma's confident and triumphant tone. The thought of my husband spending every night at his mistress's house and sleeping soundly there infuriated me. Is that so? I can't say anything without talking to my husband, so I'll hang up for now. Let's talk more another time. No, talking to Liam will make no difference. Actually, I'm pregnant. Of course, it's Liam's child. Please divorce him as soon as possible for the sake of this baby in my belly. Emma's statement made my mind go blank. Pregnant? You're lying. I'm not lying. From now on, I, an elite banker, will support Emma and that child, he said, so I'll remarry Liam. We plan to raise this child together, so he's swapping wives. That's right. If you want, can you send Liam's stuff over here quickly already? Is this woman insane? We have a precious, lovely daughter at home. And my husband calling himself an elite banker wherever he goes utterly disgusted me. Too tired to argue or yell, I asked calmly, understood. Can you give me your address? Dart you obedient, Haga. The address is. After taking note, I hung up the phone. Around midnight, my husband came home. When I confronted him about the call from his mistress, he admitted to the affair without hesitation. I'm an elite banker, and I'm going to remarry a beautiful, hard-working girlfriend who deserves me. With a spiteful woman like you, my luck will go down the drain. I'm divorcing a useless woman who doesn't make a penny. Bad luck, useless, housekeeper. His words stabbed me like sharp knives. But we have a daughter we're supposed to protect. I had to be firm about that part. With a voice that sounded like it was being shaken out of me, I asked him, what are you going to do about Charlotte? Charlotte is your responsibility. I have a new child on the way. Of course, I'll pay alimony. A mere housewife like you can't live without it, Haga. For someone like me, a high earner, alimony is nothing, unlike you, Haga. No apology, no concern for his daughter. Was this man even human? Something inside me snapped. I had no more feelings for this man. I had to protect my daughter alone. My husband then started talking about Emma without being asked. It seems Emma is a new hire who just joined the company and is apparently only 24 years old. She's a new hire, but she's a quick learner, beautiful, and popular with everyone. My life's second chapter will be with someone young and cute like her, not an old lady like you, he said, with a twinkle in his eye. Despite being ridiculed by my husband and his mistress, I felt no tears. I just wished for their unhappiness. That day, my husband took some belongings and said, I'll send the divorce papers once everything is settled, and he didn't return the next day or the day after. He's probably staying at Emma's place. I began preparing for the divorce. Having heard it's better to settle alimony before filing for divorce, I consulted a lawyer before submitting the divorce papers. I sent my husband's belongings to the address Emma gave me and started preparing to move back with my daughter to my parents' house. While cleaning the house, I found more of my husband's belongings and contacted him. While I was cleaning up, I found a bunch of your stuff. My bad. I'll come get it tomorrow, he said. The next day, my husband came to the house. Shockingly, he was accompanied by the woman likely to be his mistress, Emma. Nice to meet you, the ex-wife. I'm having a tough time with morning sickness. Have you signed the divorce papers? Can you hurry up and finish the divorce? She said. Indeed, the woman was beautiful and appeared significantly younger than me. Seeing my husband with his hand around the pregnant Emma made me sick to my stomach. I just wanted them to leave quickly. Here, the divorce papers and your belongings. As I handed over the completed divorce papers, my husband snatched them, hurriedly signed his name, and slammed them back into my hands. Here. I signed them, so submit them today. Sure, sure. With that, the two of them left. I breathed a sigh of relief as they departed. I had other important arrangements to make beyond the divorce proceedings. The divorce was finalized, and I received a lump sum alimony payment from them both. Given his frequent boasts about being an elite banker, it was only expected. A week later, I was at the bank where my ex-husband works. I had an important matter to do. As I was trying to proceed with my business, ignoring my ex-husband, he approached me with a smirk. "What, you miss me? You're such a clingy woman, haha." Then Emma, who was supposed to be sitting at the reception, also came over. "Doe. The ex-wife, huh? What are you doing here?" "Oh, let me guess, the housewife ran out of money and came to dip into her savings, haha." I was utterly disgusted by their snide remarks. "No. I came to collect something." "What? $6 million? Excuse me." "Yes, actually, it was from the lottery ticket booth in the corner of the supermarket, where I bought a lottery ticket for the first time in a long while. And against all odds, it had won. When my husband and I used to buy them as a hobby, we'd check the winning numbers excitedly together. But since I bought this ticket on my own, I had no expectations and casually checked the online results to see congratulations on your win. Thinking it was the usual small prize, I scrolled down, only to see a number I had never seen before. Winning amount $6 million. 1, 10, 100. I counted the digits. What? $6 million. I was in shock for a while. I just stared blankly at the winning screen, standing there in a daze. That day felt like a dream, and I couldn't focus on household chores or childcare. The next day, I opened my laptop again to check, and sure enough, it still said $6 million. I followed the procedure for claiming the prize, still feeling lightheaded. It felt somewhat surreal, like it was happening to someone else. I had already checked with a lawyer whether a lottery ticket purchased before the divorce, if won, would be considered part of the marital assets. However, since the divorce was due to my husband's fault and our marital relationship had broken down, it wouldn't be considered part of the marital assets. Explaining the situation to them, they exclaimed, "What? Why didn't you say so? That should be part of the assets to be divided, right? It's unfair for you to get all of it. That's not acceptable. You had an affair and got your mistress pregnant. There's no way you're eligible. Besides, I've already checked with my lawyer." "No, that's a lie." My ex-husband raised his voice. "What's this? You never won such a large amount when you were with me. You should have used your luck when you were with me." "Damn wife. Why only you? You said it, didn't you? That being with a gloomy woman like me brings down your luck. Maybe the reason your luck was down was because of you, huh?" "LOL, GRR. Emma interjected, "What's with her? Liam, let's just go. What does it matter how much money this woman gets? Come on, let's leave." Saying so, she pulled on my ex-husband's arm. But my ex-husband showed no sign of moving, and then he said something unbelievable. "Olivia, I was wrong. Let's get back together, huh? I was wrong to mock you and have an affair. Let's start over." "Excuse me. What are you saying? You said you'd support me and the baby. You said you loved me. And now, you're going back to your ex-wife. But, with $6 million, I can quit my job, buy a house, get a nice car, go on trips. There's no happiness greater than that." Blinded by money, my ex-husband proposed reconciliation. His utterly despicable remarks fueled a fiery anger within me. "You really are a worthless human being." The thought of having lived with such a low man for years genuinely disgusted me. "I'm sorry for everything until now. I'll treasure you from here on out, huh? Think it over," he said, grabbing my arm and not letting go. Even I had to say, "Don't joke with me," and yelled at my ex-husband. My ex-husband flinched, surprised by my loud voice. Then, hearing our commotion, a person emerged from the back. "What's going on here, Mr. Liam?" "Branch manager." The person was the bank's branch manager. My ex-husband and Emma were flustered by the appearance of such an important figure. "It's nothing." "Is that so? I've heard about what's been going on from the staff, but are you sure there's nothing?" "Well, I'll have a detailed conversation with you later. And Emma, about your relationship as well." The faces of my ex-husband and Emma turned pale. having an affair, impregnating the mistress, and then openly discussing it in the bank was surely not something the bank could overlook. My condolences. Watching the three of them with such farts, the branch manager approached me. I'm very sorry for the discomfort we've caused you as a customer. Saying so, the branch manager bowed deeply to me. Following that, my ex-husband and Emma also bowed their heads. Well, I think these two bowed their heads mainly because the branch manager did, given their position. No, it's all right. Are you here to withdraw your winnings? Let me assist you immediately. Thanks to the branch manager's swift handling, I was able to claim the winnings and suddenly became a multi-millionaire. A few days later, my ex-husband bombarded me with calls. I regretted not having blocked him sooner. Initially, I ignored them, but he was so persistent that I finally answered, "Hello." Then he exclaimed, "Olivia. Good, you answered the phone. What do you want?" Ever since that day, my boss has been furious, saying someone like you could damage the bank's reputation. Don't you think that's harsh? After all I've worked hard for. Sensing the situation, I sighed deeply. That boss of yours seems reasonable. Maybe he thought that someone with your lack of character could eventually bring significant detriment to the bank. My ex-husband choked up at my composed response. I continued. Besides, the only thing you've really put effort into is womanizing, right? Well, that's... Anyway, I really couldn't care less about your precarious position at the company. Take care. With that, I hung up the phone. I felt a bit relieved. The story from there on. According to what I heard from an acquaintance, my ex-husband ended up being demoted and transferred to a regional branch. The punishment was due to his affair and causing a disturbance within the bank, disrupting the order. Furthermore, after discovering I had won the lottery, Emma, who had witnessed the entire scene of my ex-husband pleading for reconciliation, was furious with him. He told my ex-husband, "Actually, the baby in my belly, it's not yours." No, it's not. Maybe it's not your baby is the right word. I had several other candidates for marriage. I thought you might be a good man to marry because you claim to be an elite banker, but I don't want a banker whose position is in jeopardy because he was demoted and sent to a regional office. I'm going to remarry someone better, so goodbye. She suddenly resigned from the bank and disappeared completely. Emma had other prospects for marriage and had considered remarrying my ex-husband, thinking he was an elite banker. Once he became just an ordinary employee in a precarious position, she decided he was no longer worth it. It was a story more terrifying than a horror tale, but in the end, my ex-husband was abandoned by his mistress, deserted by his wife and child, and his position at work became unstable. Truly a case of poetic justice. As for me, with the lottery winnings, my daughter and I moved to a condominium. Though having such a large sum meant I could have chosen not to work, being cautious, I soon found a job and returned to work as a full-time caregiver. Considering my daughter's future, I wanted to avoid reckless spending. However, I decided we deserved a bit of luxury, so I took my daughter and my parents on a trip to Hawaii. Staying in a great hotel and being able to show my gratitude to my parents while spending quality time with my daughter was truly wonderful. I look forward to many more trips with my daughter, learning and discovering new interests and hobbies together. Here's to starting a happy second chapter of our lives with my adorable daughter.